Today I'm going to show you guys how to make these two, one with the circular background and one with the painted look background, all in vinyl. I've never done a video before, so bear with me. Thank you to my 11-year-old son for being my videographer today. We're no professionals. This is a list of everything that you need. I'm going to make two of them today. One that has the actual cutout design circles for the keychains, and one that has the brush strokes because people were asking about that. So what I did do was go ahead and just cut out my pieces. I like to keep all of my vinyl and separated so I know exactly where it goes, and I keep vinyl scrap. Even the smallest pieces, smaller than this, I will keep in case I need to use it for something really small. So I have full pieces down here and I have scrap pieces here. The packets that you get on Amazon for the key rings, they are 2 inches. So we have those. They also come with a variety of tassels in different colors. And then they come with a bunch of these key rings. And then they come with a pack of little hooks to put your keychains on. You're also going to need some little pliers. I got these in a jewelry kit, but any kind will do. Obviously your scraping tool, squeegee, whatever you call it. I use my Cricut scissors. It's not necessary, but you can use whatever scissors you have. This is the scalpel. This is a Cricut brand, but you don't have to use it. Mine just came with this, so that's what I use to make the holes in the top if there's vinyl covering it. And then you need your weeding tool. You can use the Cricut one, but I really like this one. It's really small and it really gets in those little tiny letterings. So that's what I prefer. So I've picked out my colors. You're also going to need a piece of transfer tape. I just went ahead and pre-cut this as well, just so we can shorten the video. So I will be right back and we will get everything into design space. Okay, so first we're going to do the circular background pattern. So I chose these colors. I'm going to make my circular pattern out of this really pretty color here. And then I'm going to make her chicken, because she likes chicken, so that's what I'm going to do for her, in the black. And then I'm going to do her name in this pretty coral. So what I'm going to do is come over into design space, and I'm going to upload my images. I do already have these, some of these circular patterns downloaded already. So I'm just going to kind of go through here, and I really like this one. So I will click on it and then insert it. The round circles are 2 inches. So what I am going to do is come up here to the height and make it 1.95 inches. And that's obviously going to make it 1.95 length and width, since it's a circle. Next, what I want to do is I want to weld it, because otherwise it's going to cut out all these tiny pieces by themselves. And I'm going to keep it this color. It's pretty similar to the color I have here. You can use any color vinyl you want, but I do try to find a color that's similar to it so that I can at least kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. So that's going to be my bottom layer. And the next layer is going to be the chicken. So I'm going to go back to my upload, find my chicken, and insert it. And then I'm just going to, you can either manually make it smaller, or I just prefer to come up here and change the height. So I'm going to do 1.5 and see how that looks on here. You don't want it too close to the top or bottom. And I actually think that looks pretty good right there. And then I'm just going to type in the text here, and I'm going to make this for my friend Chrissy. She really likes chickens. And then I'm going to come up to the font area, and I've been using Babette, and I really like it. So I'm going to click on that. And these letters are way too far apart for me. So what I will do is actually decrease the letter space here so that they are connected. And I sometimes like to go in here, especially on this font. Like, I think these S's and Y's just look too big for the rest of this, especially with this uppercase K. So I will select this and then come up to this corner and ungroup them. And then I'll go ahead and make, like, I'll reduce the sizes of my S's here so they're not quite so big. And then just kind of, I like make my Y a little bit smaller too. And then just connect them here together. And I want my K a little bit bigger since it is uppercase. And then I accidentally moved my R. I'm just going to undo and put it back where it was. I do that a lot. And I'll just make this a little bit bigger. Then I'll just kind of look. I like the way that looks. So then I'm just going to select, like highlight over all the letters. And then I'm going to regroup them. And then I'm going to go down and weld. The thing with weld is it'll make it all one piece, but sometimes it will fill in a piece, like maybe this little R here or an E or an L. If that's the case, I will actually unweld it and just attach it because I don't want those filled in and they won't weed out. So then I'm gonna go and resize this. I'm gonna use this coral color-ish for that. I don't really have that color here, so I'm just gonna pick something that looks similar. And then just move it over here. And I think that looks pretty good. So now because I've welded my outer circle, I've welded my name, and the chicken is one image, that should be all. And I'm just gonna come over to make it. So I'm gonna feed it, make sure it feeds in there good. I have had some instances where it doesn't feed in, so I always try to make sure that that's ready to go. And then I'm just gonna hit cut. And while that's working itself, I will come over here. These do have protectant sheets on front and back. So I'll just use my little weeding tool here and peel this back like that. And then I'll go ahead, I'm gonna use this color to match the background. So I will go ahead and delay there. So I'm gonna use this color. And then I was using 2 of these rings, one for the tassel and one for the keychain, but I decided there weren't enough for the whole bag. So I actually will just take this big ring here and I will open it. My piece is done over there, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And I just open it and then I'll put my tassel in and then I'll close it. Maybe. Sometimes I have a heck of a time with these. There we go. So that's ready to go. And then it's attached here, and then I will finish it here in just a second. So this is done. So I'm going to push this out here, peel that off. I know most people will do it face down, and I probably should have, but I didn't. But it's fine. I'm gonna be pulling this up anyways. You should do it face down, but I didn't. So now it's asking me to cut the chicken. So I'm gonna take my black, put it in the corner here. I love keeping scraps, especially for these little projects, because you don't need that much. And it can make one sheet of black or whatever color you use can really make a ton of stuff. So I'll go ahead and feed again. And cut again. And this should just take a second. What I will do while we're waiting is, let me move some of this stuff over here, is I reverse weed everything I do on these because they're so small. And how you reverse weed is you're gonna take your transfer tape and you're gonna peel it off. And I don't know if you can see on this design here. Can you see the design there? Let me move your hand, buddy. You can see the design there. I'm gonna cut a little bit of the excess off on this one side here where there's no design, just to make it easier. And I'm actually going to reverse weed. So I put the transfer tape over the entire piece, including the outer area. And I'm gonna go ahead and press that down. And then I just peel it up and everything comes with it. I'm gonna grab my chicken real quick over here. Chicken looks great. Face down off the mat. And then the next thing is gonna be the name. And again, I'm just gonna put this here in the top corner and put that in. Okay, now I'm gonna come back over to my piece here and I'm gonna have my son get kind of in here close, maybe on the other side, buddy. And I'm just gonna go from the corner of this and pull back. It is, when you reverse weed and it's on this sticky tape, it is hard to pull up, but usually the pattern will just stay there. And then you don't have to worry about weeding all these teeny little pieces. So I just grab it real quick like that. And then I'll just continue to weed. And I will be back as soon as I finish this. Okay, so that's weeded. It weeded out really easily. And then I'm gonna take my circle here, and sometimes I will find, like, if I put it like this, there may be part of a area there where there's a hole, and then I just line this up as best I can, and then I'm gonna make sure that I press down on everything really good. Sometimes, especially around this hole, if there's vinyl over it, which in most of these cases there will be, that they don't stick down very well. So I have to kind of keep an eye on that. I try to come from the bottom. It usually will help. But we'll see what happens. All right, so that came off okay. So then this is where everybody was asking about the hole. So like I clearly have some vinyl in the way of the hole. That's when I take out the scalpel. And it's so nice, especially if it's sharp. You literally just go around the edge of the hole like this. And even if you're using a full piece around there, it just comes out perfectly. No issues at all. That's done. So then what I'm gonna do next is my chicken. So I have my chicken. And if you don't want to reverse weed because this is a bigger image and doesn't have all these teeny little pieces, you can do it regularly. I just sometimes have a heck of a time with permanent vinyl getting it to just stay on where it's supposed to stay, especially like these little feet and everything. Sometimes they are just such a pain. That came off pretty good. I do have to weed just a tiny little piece here in between the feet. I'll grab that and hopefully not rip his feet up with it. All right. So if you don't want to reverse weed, this is the way to do it. And then put your transfer tape on face down here. And then you'll do this. But I like to reverse weed everything. So I'm going to reverse weed, especially the name. So then this comes off. And then I just line it up with the hole here. And that looks pretty good. And especially these little things like the little feathers in the head and the beak and the feet, you really got to press down hard on those. But if they start to come up, you just put it back down. And I've done that a million times. Especially when you have different textures when you're layering. I've had that happen more often than not. So then I'm going to do the same thing with the name. I'm going to cut off as much around it as possible. And I have found that when I reverse weed, if I can just do it really fast, then it just comes off better for some reason. So that one, reverse weed this. And then it comes off here. Then I'm gonna go in on the corner and hope that it all comes up, especially when you have those eyes. Those little tiny dots are a pain sometimes. This is coming up pretty good. And then I just have to come back in here and weed out what isn't supposed to be there. Sometimes, this is Oracle 51 and it is serious stuff, so sometimes it doesn't like to come off. It really likes to stick. It's really good. I really like using it. It's really durable, but it does like to stick. And then you just gotta get in these little pieces here. Sorry, I guess I could turn it off, but I'm almost done, so. I usually keep a lint roller for my vinyl, but I didn't. Okay. Then I just turn around, make sure I didn't miss any. We all know how that goes when you miss a piece of vinyl you're supposed to use. And then I'm just gonna layer it on top of here. That looks good. Same thing. Make sure that's on really good. Something comes up, yes. Like this one's down in a crack here, so it might be more difficult. I doesn't want to stay. This doesn't want to stay. I do find that I have more trouble with this when there's more layers like that. They don't want to stay, but that's it. So that's done. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take this, loop this through, grab my pliers. Try to get this through. There we go. I'm not the most professional with this. That's it. There you go. I'll do the next video on the painted backdrop one. I also legit did exactly what I said to do, was check your weeding, and I missed a spot. So here's the finished product. It looks a lot better than the one that I just put on there, but that's finished product, and I will be back. Okay, now we're gonna do the brush strokes one. I actually decided I'm gonna do a mama bear one instead of a monogram, but I'm still gonna use the brush stroke back. So because the brush stroke doesn't have an actual size on it, and I know these are 2 inches, I'm gonna come over here to shapes, and I'm gonna select a circle, and I'm going to make the circle 1.95 inches. And that way it'll give me an idea of what size I need to make everything. I'm gonna go ahead and make it white just because it's a clear background. And then I'm gonna look up my brush strokes here because I already downloaded those, and I'm just gonna click on them. It does bring up all of them at the same time, but all you're gonna have to do is come over here and you'll just cut all the ones that you don't want, and they won't show up. I really like this one down here. I think it looks the most brush strokes of all. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut all of the other images here so that you can't see them. And then I'm just gonna take this one and move it up. And actually it's at a pretty good size here. Can you get that from her, please? My dog is playing with her toy in the background. This looks like a pretty good size. I don't want it to take up all the room. I want to make sure I have room around the side of it. So I'm going to leave it like that. Then I think I'm going to upload this bear and do a mama bear. Obviously that's way too big. So again, we're going to resize and do one to fit in the middle here. Let me make it like that, I think. And actually, I might resize this a little bit and unlock it and make it a little bit wider here, perhaps, to cover more area. And I'll lock it back. Put our bear here. And then I just really love the Babette, so I'm just gonna use that again. And I'll reduce the lettering again. And I'm going to ungroup because I don't like that this A is so big and it's not attached to my E. I don't know why it bothers me, but I'm just going to go ahead and adjust them. I think that looks good, so I'm going to highlight them, group them back, weld, and make sure that, see, now the weld made this R loop colored in, and while it's not the end of the world, I don't love it. So I'm actually just going to go ahead, instead of weld, I'm just going to attach it, and then resize here, and I'm going to make it white. And I think that looks pretty good. So because we're not using the circle in this, you do have to delete it so that it doesn't print. And then I'm just going to go to make sure I only have 3 things to cut. The mama bear is attached together, the bear is there, and then our paint. So I'm going to do the paint first again because it's the first thing that I'm going to want to put on there. And I still have it on my vinyl setting. Go ahead and cut that. While I'm cutting, I'm going to do the same thing I did before over here. So I'm just going to peel this off. While that's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put my tassel on. I picked purple. Open that up. And this is real time. I mean, the weeding for the other one took me about a minute. And I'm just gonna clean up that, if maybe. There we go. All right, this one's done. I'm gonna pull this one off. And then I'm gonna do, it's asking me to do the white one next, but I'm gonna do the bear because it's my next layer. I got dog hair everywhere. Anybody else get dog hair all over these mats? Because I have a long-haired German Shepherd, and that is literally, she is all over my mats now. Go ahead and feed that one. Okay, I'm gonna cut around my design here as much as I can. And I'm gonna reverse weed again. And that whole thing will come off. And I do like, I will stop and like do the next layer so I can be working on other things while that is going on. So that I can just keep rolling and then they're all ready for me. Go ahead and weed this. Like I said, when you reverse weed, it's going to be sticky. You just hope that your edges come out. But I do find, like, normally if I did this regular way, these things would be ripping and all these little edges. So I really, really have found that reverse weeding is the way to go with little writings and stuff. Okay. Then we're gonna do the same thing we did before, where I just kind of line this up where I think it looks good. And you really kind of have to be careful because I've had it where sometimes I've put it, like accidentally put it down and it will stay down. It will not come off, and then you have to peel it like I just did on my last one where I said double check your weeding, and I obviously didn't. Okay, so that's done. Then we're going to get our bear. I'm gonna cut around it. And I reused my transfer tape. I'll use this until I can't use it anymore. Until it's ripped or not working or whatever's going on. Because we all know sometimes you just need to save what you can where you can. And hopefully his little feet are going to come out good. See, like that one wanted to come up a little bit. Perfect. And then we're just gonna put this bear right here. beautifully. And now we're gonna do our mama bear and hope that it stays down. I really, I don't even remember what brand of permanent vinyl this white is, but I love it. It comes up so easily, and it weeds so easily. So then I'm just gonna get at the corner here. And I find sometimes too, like, if I just kind of go a little bit fast, it really kind of almost works better than if I try to go slow and pick. This is really small, so like it might not always work out to get all these little pieces out, but we'll see. I'm just gonna grab these with my fingers so I can get them done quicker. And obviously, like, whatever you guys decide to do on here, you have your own tricks, tips. This is just to show you how to, this is just how I do it. You can do it however you want. That's done, quick and easy. And then I'm just gonna, I don't want to totally cover the bear, so I'm gonna do it a little bit lower. And I'm just gonna do that. My 8 doesn't want to stay. And we're done. And I'll just go ahead and attach that, and that's it.